Hey guys, it's Haunted House here. Recently I got burnt out on all the games I had been playing. I decided to dive back into the FPS genre that I fell in love with all those years ago, and also try out some different Battle Royale style games. While I've been having a good time exploring modern Call of Duty and waiting for Black Ops 6 to drop, I decided it was about time for me to finally check out XDefiant, especially since it's free. What I found really surprised me. So today I would like to go over my thoughts and experiences. We'll go over my first impressions, the good and the bad. Let's begin. My overall first impression of this game was pretty good. Kind of had this moment like the villain in Ratatouille, where he's an old crotchety man and he tastes that food that reminds him of his childhood and is instantly transported back. That was me playing a game like the ones I used to play. A game without overly aggressive matchmaking rules, and Nicki Minaj wasn't slide canceling around the corner to shoot me in the back with a gun that shot anime girls or something. It really brought me back to the things that I enjoyed about the first-person shooter genre when I first got into it, and that was something I wasn't expecting. There's definitely cosmetics and things to purchase, but it doesn't feel overly aggressive, and even the most over-the-top ones don't take me out of the gameplay experience. The characters are a very interesting draw for the game. I'm no stranger to character-based games. I've played Overwatch and Apex Legends, where one could argue that the focus on the characters is the biggest draw. I think that the characters are interesting enough and have enough variety to keep people engaged, and for the most part I don't have an issue with their abilities, but that is something we'll talk a bit more about in a little bit. One thing I was really impressed by right off the bat was the map design. Each map feels very well thought out. As I'm learning the ins and outs of each one, I feel like I'm constantly learning a new flanking route or seeing a new vantage point that can help me focus on the objectives and help my team win. Most modern maps in other games feel like they're either the classic 3-lane style or a complete convoluted mess that you can't really read and interpret as a new player. You're for the most part forced to put in reps to learn this obscure, obtuse layout, and I never really felt like that in XDefiant. Everything made sense to me logically with the way things were laid out, and then spending more times in the map rewarded me with other routes to take, so it's kind of a great experience in that regard. The weapons for the most part all feel great to use. There's definitely some standout ones that I enjoy more than others, and I know there are some meta ones that are more popular, but it doesn't feel as oppressive like it does in Call of Duty. In COD, when you have a meta weapon, everybody on your team and the other team seems to be using it. I never really felt that when I was playing XDefiant. Everybody kind of had a variety of different approaches and different weapons they were using, so that was nice. Now to touch on some issues I did have with the game. In certain game modes and maps, it does feel like there's less of a focus on gunplay and more so on abilities. Each character does have an ability that they can utilize, as well as an ultimate ability, and while it doesn't feel as ability focused as something like Overwatch or even Apex Legends, it can tend to lean towards that on certain game modes. I don't think it's as bad as those other games, and you definitely still have to be able to utilize your gun, but that's something I would want to be cautious of in the future as we continue on and add more factions to the game. Having the abilities be a nice little added side dish to the overall main meat and potatoes that is the gunplay is the way to keep things focused, I think, going forward, and hopefully they stay that way. The welcome playlist that you are recommended to be in until you reach level 25 is a great new player experience based on what I played. It was nice to be able to spend some time getting used to the gunplay and learning the new maps with other players that have put a similar amount of time into the game that I have. One note I do have on it, however, is it does give you a very skewed view on what the full game will be like. Hitting level 25 and getting dumped into the main pool of players felt like going from a small duck in a small pond to a small duck in an ocean. There are players with hundreds of levels of experience above me, of course, but also they have other characters unlocked that I have not had to go up against. I'm not exactly sure how the devs could make the experience of the welcome playlist prepare you better for the full game, but it is something to make note of. In a lot of ways, when I jumped into the full game, I felt like I had to relearn everything, and I don't necessarily have an issue with that, but I can see how that could be a problem for some players. Another big issue that I think is worth bringing up is the rumors and rumblings about the game struggling internally. For those of you that missed it, there was a report that the game was not doing well, and that internally they were talking about canceling canceling post-launch support for the game if it didn't do well by the launch of Season 3. Since then, a lot of people have come out saying that these rumors were incorrect, but I think it does merit keeping these things in mind. Normally, when a big rumor like this comes out in the game industry, the truth lies somewhere in the middle of where the rumor is claiming. So I don't necessarily think that the game is going to be fully canceled, but I don't necessarily believe that it is doing amazing either. I think that there may be some sort of middle ground where they do have to try and get more players engaged, and that is something that could affect the longevity of this game. Like I said, I wouldn't take the full rumor at face value, but it is something to keep in mind as you're getting into this game or as you're continuing to play it. Now, let's talk about the positives. One big one that stuck out to me right away is no skill-based matchmaking for this game. I recently did a video where I was talking about skill-based matchmaking and engagement-optimized matchmaking, which is going to be in the corner and at the end of this video if you didn't catch that. But needless to say, I was able to feel the lack of this matchmaking optimization right away when I joined the game and once I got out of the welcome playlist. It's so refreshing to me to have an experience where you're going to have games where you have some good players and some really bad players. It was so indicative of that experience I remember having when I was playing early FPS games, and it was such a good feeling to go back to that. Sometimes I'd get blown out of the water. Other times I would pull off a close win, or I would be the one carrying my team to victory. It's nice to have that kind of variety in the experience of playing a game, and it keeps things refreshing for me. This is also one of the few games where I feel like I don't have to lock in and sweat on constantly every single match that I'm playing. Yes, I can do that if I want, and there is a ranked mode available that I will be unlocking here shortly, and I'm sure I'll have fun once I dabble into that. But if I want to sit in my living room with my family while we're watching a movie on the main TV, with one headphone in, casually playing the game while talking with everybody, I can do that while spending time with everyone and still perform well in the game. It's been so long since I've had a shooter game where I don't feel stressed out by the end of every match, and I'm just really thankful for that experience. Another thing I noted is that the player base in general seems to be more focused on playing the objective than other first-person shooter games that I have played. Maybe I got lucky, but it seems like there are less kill farmers and more people who will actually go to the capture point, and that was great. As somebody who always tries to play the objective and never really tries to pad my stats, I know it can be frustrating to have those people on your team. Hopefully that trend continues and I didn't just get some lucky lobbies, but time will tell. Another great thing is the price of the game, I think. With the game being free, there is a low barrier for entry, and there is a lot of room to improve in this game, which is missing from other games. Other games lock you into specific pools of players with their matchmaking optimization, where you can't really improve or change your outcome too much. With XDefiant, I feel like I can learn more about the maps, improve my loadouts, unlock different characters, and master their abilities. The progression system for unlocking equipment and weapons, as well as other characters, is great incentive for keeping you engaged. There is a lot to learn and a lot to unlock, which is great because it keeps you focused on having a goal while you're learning and improving. If you're looking for a game that you can put a lot of time into and that will reward you for that time put in, XDefiant is a great option in my opinion. So let's talk about why this makes me excited for the future. I think that players staying engaged with this game and coming back season over season is a great lesson for the rest of the gaming community. If other devs see that this game is succeeding without needing to use the nefarious mind games of skill-based matchmaking, they may be more tempted to try it out themselves. The XDefiant devs' commitment to making needed balance changes in a timely fashion, providing new content that shakes things up, and designing great maps are all also honestly great things that need to be praised as well. They are doing well in these regards. Sure, they could improve in some areas a little bit more, but comparative to other devs, they are doing a great job, especially given the size of their development studio. I think this is something that we need to praise, and it is important that we do so, because if a team like this can do this, a multi-billion-dollar company has no excuse not to put that kind of TLC into their game. They're setting a very good benchmark for the rest of the game developers, and I think that we need to really celebrate that. I'm excited for the changes coming in Season 2 of XDefiant. While I don't think that this will end up being my main game as of right now, I could definitely see myself coming back when I need a break from Black Ops 6 or Battle Royale style games. I think this game is kind of becoming my comfort food in terms of a game I can just go and enjoy my time with, focus on unlocking some other things and having a good time playing the objective and trying my best without feeling overly stressed. So that's my thoughts on XDefiant. Overall, I think this game is worth a shot if you haven't checked it out, or if it was something you checked out when it first released. There's a lot of great things that have been added, and I think it would be worth your time to return and kind of explore those things. You can put in time and reps and really play really hard if you want to, or you can keep it casual. Either way works, and I think you will have a great experience either way. No skill-based matchmaking means that you don't have to sweat every single game to do well. And also, when I lose, I don't feel as tilted as I do in other games, because I don't feel like the deck was strategically stacked against me. There are a lot of things on the horizon for this game, and I think it will be worth checking everything out and seeing how it continues to grow and evolve. I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited to bounce between this game and Black Ops 6 once it comes out. And speaking of, if you want my thoughts on one thing that may ruin things for Black Ops 6 before it even comes out, check out my video I recently released right here. Thanks for watching. If you're new, feel free to like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all of our newest videos. Eat well, stay hydrated, take care of yourself and those around you. I'll see you next time, friends.